see, there's like this mindset that to believe the Bible, you kind of have to shut off 3/4 of your brain. And that's just simply not true. Archaeologists all over the place. Have you guys ever seen the movie Expelled? Has anybody ever seen that? I would highly encourage you to go watch that. Rick, maybe you should have a movie night and we should watch Expelled. Because it's smart dudes, guys a lot smarter than me, guys that go to like Harvard and Yale and like get paid to sit around a room and think stuff up, are talking about how creation is not necessarily an unintelligent thing to think about. In fact, it's more intelligent, some people believe, than this whole theory of evolution that we've been teaching in our schools for the last 500 years, or however long. I don't know. All right, so that's kind of cool to see that the Bible talked about it when no one else did, and then we found it. It adds credibility to the Bible, right? Doesn't it? Wouldn't you have more trust in the Bible, knowing that the Bible is the only one talking about it, and then we found it? Kind of cool, right? Keep going. Okay, so what about this question? Okay, we talked about we talked about Jesus. Who was that? Was that you? That was you. We talked about Jesus dying on the cross and then getting resurrected. It's kind of like sometimes when we talk about Jesus, it's kind of like we talk about other mythical characters. Go ahead and go to the next one. You guys will recognize this one. So are Jesus and Bigfoot kind of on the same level here? And that's kind of the question sometimes, right? You're like, if I can believe that this man-ape gorilla is running around the woods in Oregon somewhere, maybe I can believe that Jesus died on the cross and was resurrected. I don't know. It's kind of sometimes it almost seems like the world holds Jesus and Bigfoot on the same level, right? Here's the only problem I have with that. Keep going. Biblical evidence. If the Bible itself claimed that Jesus didn't exist, then I would have a hard time believing that Jesus existed, right? But in the Bible, prophecy in the Old Testament, we went over this a couple years ago in K-Life, the Old Testament, 700 years before Jesus was born, the Old Testament said it was going to happen. And guess what? 700 years it happened. The Old Testament even goes so far as to say where he's going to be born. Micah 5:2 talks about about the Messiah being born in Bethlehem. You guys all know the Christmas story. He's born in Bethlehem. All right, that was 700 years before that happened. That'd be like me saying right now that in 700 years, Jared is going to be born in Hattusha, Turkey. And then 700 years later, a dude named Jared is born in Hattusha, Turkey. All right, it just wouldn't happen. It's improbable. But the Bible, biblical evidence that Jesus existed, right there. Historical evidence. Okay? If no one else outside the Bible ever recorded anything about this guy named Jesus, it'd be hard to believe in him, right? Because it'd be like, okay, maybe some dude in the Bible, or some dude that was writing the Bible just made up this guy Jesus. Right? Nobody else talks about him, just like kind of nobody else talked about the Hittites. It'd be hard to believe in if that was true, right? Well, historians, guys like Josephus, the Jewish Talmud, Pliny, Tacitus, and Suetonius, these are all just old Greek dudes that made it their business to keep history. All right, they're basically historians. They recorded history about this dude named Jesus. So that's extra biblical, meaning outside the Bible, evidence that Jesus existed, right? Believers outside the Bible, a guy named Polycarp wrote about this guy named Jesus and all the things that he did. And then non-believers even, Roman kings and Roman politicians and stuff write about this guy named Jesus. And so that's extra biblical evidence that Jesus existed. Okay? Archaeological evidence. Roman catacombs. Okay, who knows what a catacomb is? What is it?
It's like where they bury their dead.
Yeah, it's a tomb. It's like this big giant room under a city that they put dead people.
Oh,
Italy. Rome, Italy. Okay. Roman catacombs. In the Roman catacombs, there's actually pictures or mosaics depicting Jesus. Somebody's honking. Is it time? Okay, it's time. Archaeological accuracy of the account of Jesus. There's coins. There's actually coins with Jesus on them. right? That were minted in ancient Jerusalem. I've actually seen one of these coins. I had one for a little while, but I lost it. A dude gave me one, but I lost it. So that's biblical evidence, historical evidence, and archaeological evidence that Jesus existed. 3 things. Even people who don't believe in Jesus, like Celsus, Lucian, and Porphyry, said that he existed. Even people that didn't believe that he was a Messiah said that he existed. So there's 3 reasons that you can believe that Jesus existed, that we can believe that the Bible that was written originally is the same Bible we have today, and that we can believe that the Bible is historically accurate. All right, so knowing all that, let me read this again, and we'll talk about Mythbusters coming up here a little bit. If you didn't believe in the Bible, then everything that we talk about this year is not going to mean a whole lot to you. But if you have faith, and if you know that the Bible is historically a credible document, something that you can put your faith and trust into, then all kinds of myths are going to be busted in your life this year. If you come and listen to what Rick and the other people have to share with you. So with that all in mind, let me read this again. May our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us and by his grace gave us eternal encouragement. The stuff in here was written to you. Even though it was written, some of it, thousands of years ago, it was written to you to encourage you. So when you go through the hard things, when you go, and they'll come, because they come to all of us. When you go through the good times, they will encourage you eternally.